Hey y'all, Dr. Darria here. Many of you have been sending me questions to my Instagram account and other places, and I wanted to hop on and share a bunch of them. So today I have a cluster of questions around symptoms that I thought would be really helpful to share with you. So here we go. First is, do you think a patient can have shortness of breath without any other symptoms and have COVID-19? It was signed by a worried mom. Being a worried mom myself, I hear you. So the question about this though is that yes, it is possible to really just have noting a shortness of breath and have it still be COVID, because when they looked at the different studies, and yes, they say shortness of breath and cough and fever and all these things you should have, but up to 20% of people have such a low grade fever, they don't even really notice it. So yes, if you have a really marked shortness of breath, that itself could be a sign of COVID. I think this brings up an important point though, and that it brings up that COVID can present in such varying different ways for many different people. Of course, again, classic cough, fever, shortness of breath, body aches, chills, but people also have nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which is often more common in children. And even there's these new concept of COVID toes, which people are getting, and they're saying it's itchy, purpley, almost painful kind of bruising on their feet. And that's due to the inflammatory effect of COVID. So yes, it's absolutely possible to not meet the perfect presentation of COVID and to have COVID. That said, there's a lot of other things that could be causing it. So what I always tell my patients, don't try to guess and don't try to self-diagnose what you think you have. If you have symptoms such as a shortness of breath, which should have brought you to the ER pre-COVID, it should bring you to the ER now to be evaluated. So I just cannot emphasize that enough. Don't do the second guessing at home. If you have a symptom that's concerning to you, seek medical care, whether that's via telemedicine with your own doctor or coming to the ER if necessary. Next question is, my husband and my 13-year-old and I all believe that we've had COVID in February. We were very ill. We had a low-grade fever, cough, chills, aches, difficulty breathing, and I had lung edema. We were the sickest we've ever been. Are we immune? So again, I've been getting a lot of this question. I was super sick in February, and my husband's been joking at times that he thinks I must have had COVID during that time. Don't necessarily know though, because also during that time there was flu, there was metapneumovirus, which is another virus that can cause those same sort of symptoms. So what I'm telling everybody, and the guidance I'm using myself is, sure, it's possible it may have been COVID. I would not at all rely and think that you actually had immunity, because of course we don't know how much immunity we have from it yet, but definitely don't assume that you had COVID. Don't assume that you were immune until we get more information, until you have had a serology test, and until we know really what those serology tests mean in terms of how long immunity lasts. Last question is, hi Dr. Darria, I've been having a sore throat on and off for like 10 days or so, but I'm not sure if it's just allergies or a cold or coronavirus. And of course, this is tough because coronavirus is very rude. It manages to now hit us as we're going into allergy season. Hopefully it will be polite and not happen when we're in the middle of flu season, or that'll be even more complicated. So remember, quick allergies versus coronavirus. First is, if you're a person who gets allergies every year and you have your exact same symptoms as allergies, then yes, it's probably allergies. But of course, allergies don't always hit us the same every year, and some springs are worse than others. So remember kind of the symptoms of allergies: runny nose, dry cough. You may have itchy eyes. Sometimes you talk about an allergic shiner because their eyes are kind of swollen, almost kind of a little bit bruised, like you got a black eye. That's an allergy. COVID, again, very mixed picture, but again, you're often gonna have shortness of breath, fever, body aches, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, the COVID toes we talked about, all of those things different from allergy. Bottom line again though, is I always tell my patients, I don't need you to try to guess what you think you have. If you have symptoms that you think are worrisome enough that you would go to the emergency department or seek medical care, do so. That's the bottom line. Y'all, that's it for today. I'm going to be answering as many questions as I can. I'll try to get to a couple every couple of days. So continue to send me your questions at Dr. Darria. On Instagram is the very best place to do it. Of course, I'm on Twitter and Facebook and all the other places, but at Dr. Darria on Instagram is the very best place. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.